This is Minutes of Horror Stories, episode 12. Through the peephole. Claire always felt safe in her apartment. 4th floor, secured entry, quiet neighbors. She lived alone, but she liked it that way. The building was old, but well-maintained, and the heavy wooden door had a brass peephole that distorted everything it saw, like a warped fisheye lens, making things appear strange, almost unreal. One night, just past 11 p.m., she heard the first knock. 3 short raps. Polite, almost too polite. It didn't seem right. She muted the TV, sat still, and listened. The knock came again. Louder this time. More insistent. She wasn't expecting anyone. Claire crept slowly toward the door, her heartbeat picking up. Her hand hovered over the brass handle. She pressed her eye to the peephole. A man stood there, mid-30s, clean-shaven, dressed in dark, nondescript clothes. No uniform, no package. Nothing. Just a figure in the dimly lit hallway. He didn't speak. Claire didn't say anything either. She didn't move. Her breath was shallow as she watched him. She tried to focus, but there was something off about him. His posture, the way he stood so still, staring at her door, like he was waiting, watching. Then he knocked again. A sharp, firm rap. "Hey!" His voice came calm, almost soothing. "Sorry to bother you. I think I dropped my wallet. I was visiting a friend on the 5th floor, and I might have lost it by your door." Claire didn't respond. She didn't know what to say. The words felt wrong, too rehearsed, too casual for someone who was standing on her doorstep in the middle of the night. Something didn't sit right. She backed away from the door, her heart racing. Her phone was still on the couch, charging, but her feet didn't want to move. Instead, she stood there listening, waiting. The silence pressed in on her. 10 minutes passed. Nothing. Then suddenly her phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Why didn't you answer the door?" Claire's stomach sank. She hadn't given anyone her number. She didn't even know how this person had it. Her social media was locked down tight. The building didn't have a directory. Another message. Unknown number. "You're being rude, Claire." Her blood ran cold. She froze, staring at the screen. She hadn't moved. She hadn't said a word to anyone. So, how did they know her name? The fear crept in. Her hands shook as she double-checked the lock on the door. Then, with trepidation, Claire approached the peephole again, barely breathing. She pressed her eye to it, the lens distorting her view. The hallway was empty. Her pulse hammered in her ears as she stumbled back from the door, but the feeling of being watched lingered. She couldn't shake the sensation. The night passed in a haze of terror. She kept the lights on, phone clutched tightly in her hand, eyes darting to the door every few minutes. The next morning, Claire went straight to the building manager. She showed him the strange messages, told him everything. He seemed genuinely concerned. He promised to review the building's camera footage. Hours later, he called her into his office. "Claire," his voice was strained, barely above a whisper. "You said he was visiting someone on the 5th floor?" She nodded, confused, but still shaken. "There's no one living up there," the manager said. "That floor's been sealed off since the flood 2 years ago." They reviewed the footage together. At 11:02 p.m., a man appeared in the hallway. He walked slowly toward her door, but he didn't knock. He just stood there, still, for nearly 5 minutes, staring directly at her door, staring at the peephole. The manager paused the footage. "Watch this," he said, pointing to the screen. The man reached into his coat pocket. He pulled out a small piece of black electrical tape. He carefully, methodically, pressed it over the peephole. Claire's stomach twisted. He didn't want her to see him. He wanted to see if she was watching him. Then, as the footage continued, the man did something even more chilling. He smiled. A slow, sickening grin stretched across his face as he stared at the camera, his eyes gleaming with something dark, something knowing. He walked away. No second knock. No more attempts to speak. Claire couldn't breathe. She could barely process what she had just seen. The next day, she packed up and moved out of the apartment. The police couldn't trace the number. They never found the man. The building manager made sure to increase security, but the damage had been done. The image of his smile, twisted, cold, and somehow knowing, haunted her. For weeks after moving out, she would pass by apartment doors, her eyes automatically searching the peephole, wondering if someone might be watching her, wondering if she would ever truly be safe again. Subscribe your channel and be safe.